By accident, he was reincarnated as the second child. My name is Brother Sean. Compared with my peers, I feel very lucky. I have never been alone since I was a child. Not because I have many brothers and sisters, but because there is another person who came into this world with me. She is the twin sister who was born 7 minutes earlier than me. Unfortunately, just because of these short 7 minutes, I will be reduced to the second child in 1,000 years and call her my sister. But I still can't get around it. I always feel like they're all on the same day. Isn't it just 7 minutes different? Why should I call her sister? So from then on, I followed my sister and called her name Shan Shan. No matter how much my family apologized, no matter how my relatives tried to enlighten me, I always adhered to my principles and only called my name, not my sister. I sometimes think very puzzledly. I don't know if it's because my memory is too good or what. I vaguely remember that my sister and I were doing gymnastics when we were in the womb. Sometimes I would hold a rope and jump in my mother's belly. It wasn't until later that I learned that the thing I thought was a rope had a nice name, umbilical cord. Then, when it was about to be born, it seemed that an old uncle was saying to the two of us sisters, "Now is the time for you to return to the world. Go out and go to the place where you two live." Then he told his sister in her mother's womb, "You go out first, and I will go out later." In this way, I was 7 minutes slower than my sister, and I was truly the second child in 1,000 years. Later, my sister would often gloat to me and say, "Who told you to be so stupid and not come out first?" Haha. As soon as I heard my sister say this, I pretended not to care and said, "TSK, I don't like being the boss. Do you know why? Because the boss has to give in to the second child, so he suffers a lot. I am very proud of my smart mind. Maybe it's because I have had a rich imagination since I was a child. So there's some weird things in my head all day long. I have a headache for this extra sister. It naturally reflects my future career, mainly focusing on writing the Zero novel Kenshu, CC. When I'm at home, I can sleep until I wake up naturally every time. Then my mother will prepare breakfast early in the morning and wait for me to get up and eat it. My sister is different. She hurried to work before her mother could finish cooking. Although my sister and I are only a few minutes apart, our status in the family is like 5 years apart. My parents have completely indulged me. Maybe it's just like the old saying, parents love the youngest. Of course, a large part of it is because I am better at pleasing my parents. One sunny afternoon, Brother Sean was lying in bed lazily taking a nap when he was suddenly woken up by a very rapid ringtone on his cell phone. He complained very unhappily. "Who is this so early in the morning?" After saying that, he continued to lift up the quilt and fell asleep. Shan Shan, who was working, said angrily to herself, "Brother Sean must be sleeping again, and he doesn't know how to answer the phone. Hey, it would be bad if he waits for Chinjinan's call to come. Forget it. Let's go home by ourselves when we get off work." Thinking of Brother Sean, who was sleeping, Bo Lan couldn't help but shook his head and thought to himself, "I don't know when this twin sister will become more sensible." Since graduation, she has been playing on the computer at home every day without looking for a job. I really don't know what she is busy with on the computer. This made her parents completely give up any hope for her future and leave her alone every day. But it can be seen that her parents love her, otherwise they would not let her do everything. To put it bluntly, she can do whatever she wants. As long as she doesn't do anything that goes against her image as a good child, they won't step in to discipline her. Sometimes I can't help but think that my parents are partial. Why do I have to find a job as soon as I graduate and give half of my monthly salary to my parents? But I was only born 7 minutes apart from Berlin. Why do my parents treat us two sisters so differently? But fortunately, my sister is a bit lazy, even if I say she is lazy. I almost knocked my balls off. But he is very smart and cute, and he always looks like a boy. I remember when I was a kid, whether it was in kindergarten or elementary school. Every time a male classmate bullied me, who was petite and timid at that time. My younger sister would have a sullen face, and without saying a word, she would mention the red scarf of the male classmate who bullied me. As soon as this action came out, he almost squeezed the boy's neck and choked him. Then he kicked the male classmate in the middle between his legs, almost knocking off his balls. After taking care of the male classmates who bullied me, I did not forget to leave a sentence. If you want to bully Bolin again in the future, if you want to keep your balls, you'd better be good to me. Then she ran up to me very happily and said, Shan Shan, do you think I was cool just now? Did I look like a boy? At this time, I would be very happy and say to her, Hey, Brother Sean, nothing wrong. You just lack one thing. Otherwise, you would be 100% a boy. It's just that my family's feng shui was not good at that time, and you lost a piece of flesh. When I say this, Brother Sean will always run to his mother and cry very sadly, and then say coquettishly, Mom, please make me an egg. I don't want to be a girl. I want to be a boy. Of course, from now on, this sentence will naturally become the reason why we cancel Brother Sean. When she thinks of this, Shan Shan can't help but laugh. Maybe Brother Sean is the best gift God has given me. It's really nice to have a twin sister. So every time I get paid, I give half to my parents, and then I give the remaining half to Brother Sean. Every time I see Brother Sean holding money, I will be very moved and say, Shan Shan, you're so kind. You don't even forget to pay me a share of the salary. Shan Shan would just say speechlessly, Hey, if you are so lazy, whoever marries you in the future will be unlucky. Now you can spend the pocket money I give you. Brother Sean wouldn't think so much. In her mind it was, a day of happiness is also a day, and a day of trouble is also a day. Why not live every day happily? Hey, it's not my skin that's itchy, it's my hands that are itchy. Although he said he is not working now. But it's not that I don't want to work. But I feel that work is really boring. I would rather stay at the computer every day and write my favorite 00 novel Kenshu, CC. Then I dress myself up as each character in the 00 novel Kenshu, CC, which was very interesting. When Shan Shan returned home, she saw that Brother Sean had already gotten up and was watering the flowers leisurely in the yard. Shan Shan saw this and shouted loudly, Brother Sean, are you itchy and want to scold you? Hearing Shan Shan say this, Brother Sean asked innocently, What did I do wrong again? Look at me watering the flowers so obediently, and you actually said that my skin is itchy. It's not my skin that's itchy, it's my hands that are itchy. Shan Shan hurriedly walked up to her and said, But you don't know that flowers will die quickly if you water them at noon? Just wait for Dad to come back from get off work and get scolded. As soon as Shan Shan said this, Brother Sean immediately thought about his father's usual way of teaching others and said hurriedly, That's right. Okay then, I won't water the flowers. I'm going to go out for a walk. It's too boring at home. At this moment, she didn't just want to go out for a walk, but she was holding on to the hope that the water she had just poured would dry up when she came back, so as not to be scolded. He hurriedly walked to the house and pulled out his favorite racing car. Hearing that Brother Sean had started the car and was about to leave, Shan Shan hurriedly stood on the balcony upstairs and asked loudly, Brother Sean, where is my mobile phone? Brother Sean responded loudly and naughtily, I have my phone here. I will send it to your company to give it to you later. I can borrow it to take a photo first. Before Shan Shan could get angry, Brother Sean had already put on her helmet and drove off in her racing car that she thought was cool. While she was driving her car on the road while listening to P3, suddenly a very rapid sound of a horn came towards her left ear. Brother Sean, who was listening to the music, suddenly felt something bad. She quickly turned around and saw a truck rushing towards her left side. I don't know when Change will wake up. I just feel that everything in front of me is so strange. Oh my God, where is this? Then I looked around. Why is the bed so old? And even the furniture is so old. It's a world of difference compared to my own home. But why am I here? Then I thought hard about what happened back then. I just remember that I was driving my beloved racing car outside for a spin. Then there seemed to be a loud trumpet sound, and then they were speeding in their direction. But why are I here? Then I looked at the clothes I was wearing. Oh my God, what kind of clothes are these? Why are they so old? They look like opera costumes. It's too ugly. I must have been rescued by an opera singer. Then the opera singer's family was very poor, so they put me in this costume. A thought immediately flashed through my mind. I don't want to wear a costume. This costume is too ugly. I won't wear it. I have no clothes. I want to wear my clothes. I remember that I was wearing a very beautiful Meters Bonwy white sweater with a rope-like black vest on the outside. I have to put my beautiful clothes back on, and then I have to rush home to give my sister my phone back. When I thought of this, I touched the mobile phone that was in my pocket at that time, but my clothes had been changed, so where could I get the mobile phone? When Shange was about to get up to retrieve her mobile phone and clothes, there was a knock on the door, and what I saw was a man with a sinister expression and a cane in his hand, dressed magnificently. There is also a very bright agate around his neck. Look at the thick jade bracelet on his hand. An old woman with a big jade ring in her thumb. Next to him were a male servant who was also dressed magnificently, and 2 slaves with thin ponytails and 2 bangs hanging down on both sides of their hair. They were dressed in clothes that looked like fairies. Yes, it looks like the slaves shown on TV. Suddenly, Shange felt a bad thought flash in her mind. Why did these weird people appear in front of her? Randall wondered whether he had seen it wrong or because his imagination was too rich, so he had hallucinations. Give me my clothes back. Brother Sean rubbed his eyes hard when he thought of this, but he saw them right. He saw them slowly walking towards him. When the old woman saw Brother Sean about to get up from the bed, she said, very unhappy, "Who told you to get up? Why don't you lie down soon?" Suddenly hearing the old woman say this, Brother Sean looked around in confusion. Was she talking to him? He stood on the edge of the bed in surprise. At this moment, the old woman said again, "Shao Yi, Shao Shu, why don't you 2 go help the young lady to the bed?" Hearing what the old woman said, the 2 slave-like girls immediately walked towards him. He helped himself to the bed very gently. Regarding everything that happened before him, Brother Sean felt that he was shocked and surprised, as if it was a dream. He was so shocked that he couldn't say a word, as if he was scared to death. Seeing Brother Sean, who was silent, the old woman said again, "Shao Shan, just admit it if you are right. Why do you think you are doing this? Why can't you look down on a man as good as Shangguan Jiazi? You have to commit suicide. What if you have something wrong with you? How can you live as grandma?" Brother Sean just listened carefully to the old woman in front of him, saying something he didn't understand. After saying that, he said to the 2 maids next to him, "You 2 stay and serve the young lady well. If the young lady makes any mistakes again, you 2 will not live." At first, I didn't think anything was wrong with the old woman in front of me, but after I heard her say those words that would cost me 1,000 knives. Brother Sean secretly scolded her over and over in his heart. Why are there still people like this in this world? They are so arrogant. But something is wrong. I heard her call herself Shao Shan just now, and then she claimed to be my grandma, and then she said that I had to commit suicide. What's going on? Why is it so strange? After the old woman and the man went out, only the 2 people whom the old woman seemed to have called Shao Yi and Shao Shu were left. Seeing that the old woman and the male servant had gone, Shange immediately jumped up from the bed and asked the 2 people who were standing beside his bed, stunned. He muttered in a very loud tone, "Where are my clothes? Give me my clothes." Collected and organized by Kenshu, CC, the copyright belongs to the author or publisher. "Oh my God, I'm not your lady." Seeing this, the 2 girls hurriedly said, "Miss, your clothes are wet. I have washed them and hung them to dry." Brother Sean was very puzzled and said, "Where are you calling, miss? I tell you, I am not a Mississippi. How unpleasant it is to call me. People who don't know think I am a bitch. You are not allowed to call me like that again in the future, you know?" Seeing Brother Sean talking, the 2 girls looked at each other in surprise. One of the girls, who looked very watery, responded cautiously, "This is the Lee mansion. Miss, are you feeling uncomfortable?" Hearing what the girl said, Brother Sean was immediately surprised. Then he looked around and realized that this was not the place at home, but the ancient times. But how could he have come to the ancient times? He was obviously just hit by a car, so why did he end up here inexplicably? However, have you traveled through time? The more you think about it, the more scared you become. The chaotic life of ancient people kept popping up in my mind. I felt very uncomfortable in my heart, fighting and killing each other every day, which was very annoying. The most terrifying thing is that I heard that women in ancient times had no status at all and were all miserable. Either working as a prostitute in a brothel or as a doormat at home, men in ancient times were very popular. They had 3 wives and 4 concubines, and they didn't take their wives and children seriously at all. Hey, why am I so unlucky to have traveled to ancient times? It's really unfortunate. When he thought of this, Brother Sean became very angry. He ignored Xiao Yi and Xiao Shu, who were already panicking, and turned pale. He clenched his fists and punched an antique round table. He kept saying, "Nanny, I must go back. What the hell is this place?" Then he asked the 2 girls, "What are your names?" Xiaoyi and Xiaoshu were so frightened that they introduced themselves. After the introduction, the slave who called herself Xiaoyi lowered her head and thawed in confusion. Although I am very puzzled by the change of the young lady as a slave, how can I dare to ask more questions? You must know that the young lady was not like this before, but a well-educated and reasonable person. She is very lovable with her soft-spoken voice. Look at the young lady in front of you. She looks nothing like her. How can you kneel down at will? However, the reason is that the young lady fell into the river and failed to commit suicide. After being rescued by an unknown kind person, she changed. She no longer looked like the young lady, except that she still looked like the young lady. The young lady in front of me looks very fierce, and even more fierce than the old lady. After listening to the introduction of the 2 girls, Brother Sean said to himself very dejectedly, "I don't know when I can go back to the place that belongs to me, where I still have my sister and parents." Feeling very depressed, I was ready to go outside for a walk. Because every time I am in a bad mood, I like to go outside for a walk, which will make me feel extremely comfortable. When Brother Sean was about to go out, Xiao Yi and Xiao Shu, who were responsible for looking after him, hurriedly stepped forward and apologized. "Miss, the old lady said that you should cultivate yourself in the room." Brother Sean ignored the words of these 2 girls and regarded their words as falling on deaf ears, insisting on walking out of the room. I saw the 2 girls kneeling behind Brother Sean with a plop. Brother Sean hurriedly turned around, not knowing. He was shocked when he saw it. You must know that this kneeling scene is considered too bullying in modern times and will be spit upon by the world. Brother Sean hurriedly walked up to them and exclaimed, "What are you 2 doing? How can you kneel down casually? Get up quickly." Xiao Yi and Xiao Shu said in unison, "If the young lady insists on walking out of the room, Xiao Yi and Xiao Shu will not be able to kneel down." Hearing Xiao Yi and Xiao Shu talking like this, Brother Sean was very speechless and said, "Hey, you 2 are so stubborn that you only know how to kneel. What else can you do besides kneeling?" As soon as the words came out, Brother Sean immediately felt that something was wrong. He shouldn't say that to them. After all, this was in ancient times and could not be compared with modern times. He had no choice but to say, "Get up, I won't leave, but you have to promise me one thing." The 2 of them were still kneeling on the ground, looking at each other and saying, "Miss, I dare you not to disobey your servants, whatever you want them to do." Brother Sean laughed happily and said, "Okay, you 2 get up. In fact, this matter is not that complicated." His mind was filled with water. When saying this, Shange hurriedly stepped forward, helped the 2 people who were kneeling on the ground, and dragged them to the stools to settle down. He smiled evilly and said, "Actually, I'm not your lady, so you don't have to be so polite to me." Hearing Brother Sean say this, Xiao Yi and Xiao Shu looked at themselves with a very scared expression. The person in front of them clearly looked exactly like their own young lady. How could he not be a young lady? Brother Sean continued to smile and said, "You two are looking at the difference between me and your lady." Although he was wearing unusual clothes when he was rescued by the servant, his face looked 100% that of a young lady. Then he looked at Brother Shan's face and saw an obvious red mark on Brother Shan's right cheek. Suddenly, he became even more convinced that the person in front of him must be his young lady. It's just that the young lady in front of me is completely different from the gentle and lovely young lady from before. Maybe it was because I attempted suicide by jumping into a river that water accidentally entered my mind, and my personality changed. Xiaoyi nodded affirmatively for her understanding. Seeing this, Brother Sean said very proudly, "I just said that I am not your young lady. Do you believe me this time?" Xiaoyi became even more convinced. "You are my young lady." I thought that the two little girls in front of me could recognize my own lady, but I didn't expect that they still regarded me as his lady. Seeing Brother Sean, whose face was full of pain, Xiaoyi still said reluctantly, "Miss, please stop teasing us. The red star on your face is so scary. How could the slaves recognize the wrong person?" Xiao Shu also nodded quickly and said, Yeah. Hearing them talking like this, Brother Sean said, "Very funny. I've had this red stain on my face since I was a child. Isn't it strange?" Xiao Yi and Xiao Shu immediately looked at each other with smiles and said, "It's because you have had this red taboo since you were young, miss. So we concluded that you are our miss." Brother Sean was stunned for a moment and thought that there were people who looked exactly like him in this world. What a coincidence. Frightened by her voice, I knelt down again. There was no other way. Brother Sean could only shake his head, helplessly staring at those small single-lidded eyes and smiling at the two little girls who were sitting on the stool and looking at him because they were held down just now. Said, "Okay, from now on I will be your lady, but I have to make one thing clear to you. I am really not your lady. I may leave at any time, but I hope you two will not restrict my freedom. Miss, I am used to that kind of free and lazy life. Can you do it?" Xiao Yi and Xiao Shu hurriedly shook their heads and said, "Miss, this is not okay. If you run away, the old lady will blame the slave." Brother Sean thought for a while and said, "Okay, but as long as you cooperate with me, the old lady will naturally be unaware of the ghost." Xiao Shu stared at her big watery eyes and asked timidly, "Miss, are you still thinking about Brother Guo?" Brother Sean was stunned for a moment and thought to himself, "Who is Brother Guo?" Then he asked with those innocent eyes, "Who is Brother Guo? Why do I miss him?" Hearing Brother Sean say such shocking words, Xiao Yi and Xiao Shu were immediately stunned. "Miss, must she have lost her memory?" He hurriedly stretched out his hand and touched Brother Shan's forehead again and again, tried again and again, and said, "Miss, are you looking for fun with this slave?" Brother Sean said angrily, "Do you think I'm making fun of you? Who was that person named Guo?" Xiaoyi and Xiaoshu were suddenly frightened by Brother Shan's loud trumpet sound and fell to their knees on the ground. Seeing them kneeling on the ground again, Brother Sean said speechlessly, "Didn't I tell you not to kneel down all the time? Why are you kneeling again? Get up quickly." The two had no choice but to stand up obediently. This time, Brother Sean sat on the stool and said while making tea, "Tell me, who is the person named Guiyu just mentioned?" Seeing that the young lady really seemed not to remember, Xiaoyi asked in disbelief, "Miss, do you really not remember?